Grasshoppers, a special species of grasshopper with 20 small trunks of the Acridiidae family of insects, which form swarms under special conditions, are called locusts. Locusts, grasshoppers or gangotharynx, all three but different names for the same type of insect. However, not all grasshoppers can be called locusts. Cannibalism is the eating of members of a species by food or habit. Characteristics of certain grasshoppers. When the number of such grasshoppers in an area increases excessively, they start eating each other. Then everyone wants to fly away to save their lives. When one flies, one follows. Another one sees him, more like this. Gradually swarms are formed. The so-called locust swarm is a swarm of locusts. Swarming behavior is a genetic trait of certain species of grasshoppers. Any insect reproduces rapidly in a very short period of time in a favorable environment. Some of their external and behavioral characteristics also evolve over time in order to balance those numbers. That trait is genetically transmitted to the next generation. Cannibalism is a characteristic of crowds or food shortages. And to avoid that, flocking in search of food. Being in a swarm is probably not the religion of locusts. They like solidarity. It does not even come close to homogeneous grasshoppers except for the most basic biological requirements. The density of moths causes some more noticeable changes in grasshoppers. For example, color, which changes from pale yellow-green to brown. Size, which is larger and the body is stronger. As the brain grows in size, the secretion of serotonin in the brain increases, which has an effect on behavior. Where they kept distance from each other, the effects of excess serotonin tended to come closer to each other. Increases the chances of reproduction. It is unknown at this time what he will do after leaving the post. The metabolic rate of these grasshoppers also increases in this changed state. As a result, they eat more than before. Not only this, with the help of fire you can do welding. What he gets is chewed and chewed. This type of behavioral change can be seen in grasshoppers within hours of crowding. Suddenly they became restless from a calm state. Certain environmental conditions, such as temperature, humidity, food scarcity, population density, etc., produce multiple variations in some animals, which are called phenotypic forms. We often call them summer farm, winter farm, etc. The phenomenon of animals having these multiple variants is called phenotypic plasticity. This phenotypic plasticity is seen in the types of grasshoppers that have the ability to become locusts. As the environment becomes rough and dry, the water decreases and the temperature rises. The number of plants decreases. In such a situation, there is a possibility of food crisis for the grasshoppers. Then they come and gather in the few surviving trees to meet the demand for food. Mutual distance decreases, closeness increases. Excess serotonin is secreted into the brain. And if it suddenly rains after such a dry and rough situation, then there is no point. Having a favorable environment, the grasshopper pays attention to breeding. A new generation of immature grasshoppers or nymphs hatch from eggs. Then the closeness between them also increases. The tactile signal reaches their brains by rubbing the legs of the grasshoppers next to them. They understand that the crowd has grown too much. This time we have to proceed. Juvenile nymphs do not have wings, so they can't fly. As the crowds increase, there is a fear of food crisis and cannibalism. Therefore, rows upon rows of nymphs form marching bands together, walking mile after mile. Along the way, they eat grass, trees, and crops. Because hunger peaks then. At one point this nymph turned into a full-fledged grasshopper, joining the swarm. Goes in the direction of the warm air in search of food. They can cover more than 200 kilometers a day. According to the United Nations, locusts could eat up to 35,000 people if 1 square kilometer was occupied by locusts. A large locust can eat 120 miles of food a day. Scientists are blaming climate change as one of the main causes of the outbreak of locusts. They claim that global warming is causing more powerful cyclones than ever before. In addition, the temperature and unseasonably heavy rains also contribute to the large number of locusts. The number of locusts has also increased due to multiple heavy rains along the way.